Catherine. Hi, Angela. Hi, Heather. Hi, Deborah. Let's go.
Hi, we're live.
Oh, it's Catherine.
We're live.
Hey,
Yay! We're
All right.
live.
Thank you all so much for joining us on this very fun preview party where we've got some amazing members of our cast and crew here, and we're just going to take a little time to talk to you and tell you about the show before you watch it. So the chat will be active the whole time. If you've got some questions, feel free to type those in. We can see the chat. We'll be paying attention to that. After the show is done, it's just a 30-minute pilot, then we will all be back for a little post-show Q&A. So join us afterwards if you're able, and we'll be there again live with you. So this is really fun and exciting. Our pilot is premiering all over the world today. We're all going to see it at the same time, and then it will be up on YouTube and hopefully get millions and millions of views. Now, if you guys can share it from now, especially through the next few weeks, that's really helpful to us. So thank you very much. I want everybody to go around and introduce themselves so you can know who these lovely ladies are and what they did. So let's start with Debra.
Hi, I'm Debra Pralle. I was the director of this project.
Can't hear you.
Oh.
Are you muted?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, they can hear me. Can other people hear me?
I always hear you, Deb.
Yes.
Yes? No. I wonder what happened. Did I okay, well, I'm going to keep talking. So I'm the director, and I played Crystal, one of the producers. Oh, okay.
Okay, and how about Do You Go?
Hi, hello everyone. Hi. No, it doesn't work.
I can hear everybody fine.
Oh, wonderful!
I
can hear myself
anybody,
too.
So just letting you know.
Hi, my name is Dugu.
Keep going.
I perform Fiona, and I'm so excited to watch it with you.
I'm present.
Okay. Angela. Angela, can you introduce yourself? Can you hear me? No. Kira, can you hear me? Yeah,
I can. Hey, I'm Kira Seipler. I'm the assistant director / producer. And yeah, it was fun just keeping the cast and crew together in lovely Italy on so many great locations. So, hey, thank you again for including me.
Okay. Yeah. Angela is having some.
I could hear Kira great.
But can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Nope.
Okay.
And you cannot hear me?
But that's okay. Everyone else can hear you. So I'll just go ahead and talk. But I just know I can't hear any of you except Kira.
Okay.
For all of you in the chat, I'm so glad you can hear. I'm Angela DiMarco. I'm a producer on the show. I'm also the leading lady, Vera. And we do want to take a moment right now, because I know we even have folks right now who are streaming in live from Spokane. We are thinking of you all and all of you affected by the fires, and also the beautiful country we filmed in, Italy. We are with all of those folks there that are also affected by the fires there and all over the world. So thank you for being here and celebrating creation and storytelling. But I at least wanted to take that moment. But yes, thank you, everybody. And I'm so glad all y'all can hear, because that's the most important. I don't need to. I'm just an actor.
So one thing that people always ask us when we talk about making this show is, why in the world did you do it in Italy? That's kind of crazy. And I admit that. I mean, I think, honestly, if you want to stay in this business for any length of time, you got to be a little bit crazy. But the whole idea for this show came about largely during the pandemic, and when we were all unable to go anywhere and do much of anything. I just kept thinking about traveling, and if I could travel, where would I want to go? And I kept thinking Italy, and so Italy was at the top of my list. And then we just started talking about it. What if we could actually do it? What if it wasn't crazy expensive? And it turns out it's actually less expensive to house and feed people there than it is here. So if you add up the numbers, they aren't all that different. So I just want everyone to know that I'm not a millionaire. I hope someday maybe I will be. But, you know, we made this happen on a very, very tight budget with a small cast and crew. And so I'd love for you guys to talk about what that experience was like for you.
Yeah, for me, I just want to add a very funny story about Heather. Heather and I were in the green room together, which was a writing fellowship here in Seattle, where you're chosen for a year to write. And Heather, we all had to come up with 5 ideas. I had 2. Heather, of course, had 5. And one of her ideas was, I have this idea for a show, travel show. It's a show within a show. I don't know anything about it. It's just called Abroad. And I said, well, I don't know, but that sounds great. If you ever do it, can I just come aboard and do something? And sure enough, a year or 2 later, she wrote the damn pilot and had the whole idea for the show and brought me aboard. So anyway, I will say this too. I'm going to plug you, Heather. If your script is needing a title, I think you should call Heather, because she is the title queen. So if you want to kill her title, she's your guy.
Good to know.
It's something that, and thank you, everybody. You guys are all so sweet. Everyone was giving me just tech advice as you ladies are all speaking. Good to know for anyone who ever does one of these live streams. When it goes live, sometimes it changes your speaker adjustments.
Yeah.
So thank you, Erin. Shout out to my girl, Erin. Yes, I had to turn the speakers back on. Okay. Although I could hear Kira because we're that connected. I loved it. Going even before Heather had talked to Deb, Heather and I love her. I try to be her muse as much as possible. Y'all actors out there, find a writer, become a muse. And we just talked about literally just filming out of the country. And I said, it's always been a bucket list of mine to go to Italy. And she's like, oh my God, anytime, let's just try to go to Italy. Then, as Deb said, they had a talk and Heather had this seedling of an idea about this travel show and merged the two. But what I want to make sure everyone in the chat, whether you're creatives or not, but I know we have a lot of creatives, that what Heather and Deb and I were able to do, and obviously with Kira and Duyugu and the whole cast and crew, was finding people go, let's create something. Yeah. We are all in, all hats, and are going to lift each other up and going above and beyond because we want to bring this story to life. And I really think above, and beyond the pre-production we did and whatever budget we raised, it still was the fact that every artist involved, I feel, gave 1,000,000%. Like we're so excited to film in Italy, but wanted to do it no matter what. And I think, Heather, that stems from what an amazing script and story and idea you created, getting people excited.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it takes a village. And I think it'd be fun to hear from Duyugu and Kira as an actor and an AD. Very different experiences, very different perspectives.
So I can go first. First of all, I heard about this project from Debra, and when she told me what she's going to do, I was like, oh, I want to be in it. But I was like, I cannot ask her to put me in it. What can I do? And then luckily you guys opened an audition, and I came to audition, and I was like, I realized you were looking for different accent, different look. And I was like, but maybe. And so it wasn't important for me to be in Italy or wherever, but the script was so fun. And I really wanted to be in that, like with something more challenging, but also smart and also really warm and inviting, right? And when I come to Italy, I didn't think the budget or anything, but I was just focusing on creating this. And when I come here and meet people and start working on it, it was really warm and inviting and supporting environment. I think it started with the script, but also like what the Miss Director wanted to see, that vision, and how everyone worked to create that vision was so amazing. If we can do it again, I will do it again. I don't care the budget, but I'm gonna do everything for make it happen again.
Awesome.
Great. So I got onto the project through Deb. I was actually in Taos at a writer's retreat, and Deb's like, I'm doing this project. Will you AD? Yes. Well, hold on. Let me tell you the project. Yes. It's with Heather and Angela, and yes. It's in Italy. Fuck yes. So I did say yes. I said, we'll just work it out. We had a strong pre-production. I have to say that it was probably the toughest shoot I've ever been on, and I loved every minute of it. And a huge shout out to Niccolo Grazio, who was our production coordinator in Italy. Without his gorgeous Italian charm and expertise, we could not have survived the way we did. And I learned so much from him. Lots of great stories that come out. But I really love how, yes, there's this pre-production with the story and the actors, and then there's logistics.
Yes, and as you guys will see when you watch it, we were super ambitious, and we shot on a lot of locations, which probably
it was amazing. And Heather, you did a great job with the budget, with producing it, with keeping us in line, locations. I mean, fantastic, really strong pre-production. Everybody knew what we were doing going in. But when we landed in Italy, we realized it was Easter weekend. So everything was closed. And then the camera equipment was 2 or 3 days late. Then this, then that. But you know what? We all just said, okay, we're going to get her done. Okay. And we did.
I think part of the reason that this went as well as it did is because all of us have been doing this for a while now. If this was our first project or people were brand new or anything like that, it would have been very different. But for example, when we flew there, 10 of us came from Seattle on one flight, and the rest of us came from Los Angeles on a different flight. The LA people, their flight was fine. They went through Munich. Everything was smooth. Those of us that came from Seattle went through Frankfurt, and our flight to Italy from Germany got canceled. And so we had to spend 12 hours in the airport in Germany. And
it was a long line.
We got to know that airport very well.
Yeah.
That's not how you want to start out. So by the time we finally got to Italy, we had been awake for, 36 hours.
Yeah.
You're starting at a very big deficit with your sleep. And that was not ideal. But, we've traveled before. We've made movies before. We've done a lot of things in our life before. So we were not completely fazed by that. Thank goodness.
I just remember having the schedule and having, I have 4 extra days, but I didn't tell anybody that except maybe Deb. And then every time there was delay, Deb would look at me or say, "Are we okay?" I'm like, "We're good." But every time there was delay, she'd look at me like, "We're good." But, after a while, I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, we're good. We'll make it good.
Yeah. And honestly, though, also when you're in Italy, it doesn't really matter how your day is because you're going to end it with pasta and wine. And so who gives a shit? You know what I mean? It's like, I got my eyes on the prize. I'm going to have some wine. We're going to chill. It's all going to be good.
I miss bread.
I mean, think about it. It's like you can't, we could have gotten stressed. And even once we were there, and obviously our DP's luggage and some of the camera gear, not all of it, didn't arrive for those first 3. And yet I still feel like we all went, okay, solutions, not problems. And Kira, shout out, y'all hire this woman. Because as an AD who did not see any of the locations.
Nope.
Obviously, we weren't doing a lot of our location scouting, as y'all can imagine in the chat, because it was Italy. Niccolo, again, shout out. I just texted him, so he knows we're singing his praises. A little bit of a time difference between here and Italy. So he'll wake up and read them all. But he was able to do some boots on the ground for Heather and Deb, which we shared with Kira. But I love that it is, I have folks in the chat talking about, I think that's you, TK, talking about Iceland and other countries. And has there ever been something, Heather, where you were like, well, yeah, I can't wait to write another show in a different country, or I want to take this show to another country, or like, how did this experience make you feel about shooting abroad?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I think dreaming big is important. And so what I've been dreaming big about lately is, let's just say that this pilot gets 5 million views on YouTube, which could happen, right? It's all over the world. It could happen. And then people from YouTube or the various other streaming platforms come to us and they say, hey, we love that pilot. Do you have more episodes? And then we say, yes, we do, because we put a writer's room together and we're writing the rest of the season. And then they fund it, and we can shoot anything anywhere at this point. So, you know, heck yeah. If we have the chance to go back to Italy, yes, we would.
Heather, I will come wherever you go.
Okay.
Okay. I welcome you here in New Mexico. We double for a lot of locations, just saying.
Yeah.
I'm not looking in the YouTube thing, sorry, because I'm having like weird feedback. But are there any questions from anybody?
I'm following.
You're following. Okay.
So far, we have everybody wanting to know if they can be in our luggage anywhere.
Yes.
Well, Lord knows I brought enough that time. So
I think I have a bunch of people wanting to carry luggage. I love that as well.
Okay.
And we have a lot of people just, you know,
Okay,
like
great.
for the folks who are in the chat who aren't filmmakers, it might be too that, you know, here we are in the Zoom and you maybe don't even know us. And I think I would love for us to, and no shade at all, we don't even have to mention too much about it, but most of our locations there were free, except the church.
Except for where we lived.
The church.
Except the church. And the only reason I'm going to mention this is because it's interesting for folks who aren't involved in filmmaking that, I think some folks, when you say you're making a movie out of the country, or even if you went to maybe somewhere here in the States and said, I'm making a movie, people assume, oh, they must have a lot of money, a big budget making movies. Well, some of us are mom and pops. And that a lot of this was Heather's family, our friends, donation, and her own money. This was not millions of dollars, not by any stretch.
But it looks like it.
And it does. That's the point that I want to make. Is that this was really what they would consider a very, very micro budget. And look how amazing and beautiful. So I do think whether we get to finish the rest of the season abroad or we do something amazing and beautiful here in the States, that it's proof that location can be a character.
Yeah, for sure.
And
that is the truth. And that no matter where we film the next episodes, and we have lots of ideas, location is always going to be a character. And I also, speaking of how it looks, and you guys are going to get a chance to see it, and it really does look great. We have an amazing editor, Chris Bustet. I want to give a shout out to him. And we have a composer, Catherine Joy, who's in LA, and give a shout out to her. And I also want to shout out Patrick Hogan, who did our sound, because let me just tell you, for you new filmmakers out there, sound is just as important as the visuals. Make sure your sound is top notch. Every time is very important.
Yeah.
And then if I could add, also make sure your actors are top notch, because all the sound and backgrounds in the world will not mask bad acting.
That's right. And
I know that all of the acting in this, it was just, you know, my pleasure.
It is.
Yeah.
It's top notch all the way. But let's also remember the whole thing starts with the script.
always.
The script has got to be good, because you cannot fix that.
Nope.
If you start off with a script that isn't ready, you're kind of already in trouble. So, yeah.
But I also want to add something on the logistical production side of it, and of it is that for indie filmmakers, the biggest asset that you have, in addition to your actors, your script, your locations, your talent, is the ability to problem solve as a team and to be able to say, okay, we have to fix this. How do we do this? Rather than have egos involved or anything else. And that was the big takeaway for me. You know, when we're talking about locations and not having seen a beautiful church that had limited power, limited facilities, limited hours to be in that space, you just got to say, this is what we're working with. How do we make the best of it? And we did it. So that's one of the keys, I think, to good filmmaking is finding your resources, maxing them out with your team, and just do the best that you can.
Yes.
I also think one of the things for folks who, again, going back now to our creatives here in the chat, and also folks, I think, who aren't necessarily filmmakers, but it's good for you to know that when it comes to those location shoots, just like you said, Kira and Heather, there were some things when we got there, y'all, that we were like, oh, this cathedral, remember the big cathedral where we did the, no spoilers for those of you who haven't seen it yet, but the Lynch homage, also
Yes.
the David Lynch homage, which you guys will love. We got into this great decommissioned cathedral, for lack of a better, and it was so much, there was so much more there than we ever imagined. And quickly, Heather and Debra and Kira were like, we can add this, we could do this. Hey, we're going to pull even more actors in, and we just got to do more. Or there were things that happened. We were like, oh, this isn't necessarily what we envisioned, so we would pivot. And I think sometimes when we get a little too locked, and I'm talking about writers, I'm talking about directors, I'm talking about actors. I think we all can say this. If you're not willing to collaborate, especially when it's needed, then you're just going to stop the day. You end the day. And I felt like everyone always had ideas. And Debra and Heather, such great collaborators with our DP, who he had so many great ideas we never would have thought of, because for all my DPs in the chat, you all know your gear better than we do. So you're like, okay, let's do this handheld, and then let's go to the drone. So there's just so much really creative collaboration. I don't think I've ever in my 40 plus years acting been on such a collaborative project.
I thought you were 35.
Please, I hope not. Mommy,
no, it's true. Yeah, it is. It's just a very cyclical relationship. You know, making sure that Debra is supported as the director. Her vision is carried out in a way which carries out Heather's vision as well. So we lucked out. Really, it was a joy.
Yeah.
Well, it makes me happy because, and you know, just it wasn't like it was all just, you know, pure bliss. There definitely were stressful moments. I had one moment where I was getting real worried about money, and I was real nervous about how much it actually was going to cost for us all to be staying in these 600-year-old villas that we were in. It worked out fine, but there was a moment where I was confused about some of the numbers. And so I took a walk by myself, and I was walking by, you know, this field. There's this convent, and I took a deep breath and I said, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen? And I started imagining, like, if we really had to come up with all this extra money, what are we going to do? And, you know, your mind goes to the darkest places. And then I thought, what would Lynn Shelton do in this moment? I really did. I was staring at this church, and I was like, what would Lynn Shelton do in this moment? I was like, she would turn herself around, walk back into the house, and say, let's go. This is what we're doing.
Yep.
I don't need to bring my financial stress into the rest of the day, and it's going to work. You have to, like, be good at reassuring yourself. Everything's going to be fine.
And each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
It turned out my fears were not what I thought. You know, everything was fine. But
everything's fine.
It's gonna be fine.
It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
Everything could be fine. Yeah. Now I know that Deb and I had conversations of, we can shoot this in Seattle, or we can do this later, or we can do this in post. And I'm like, we're in fucking Italy. We're doing it now. We're doing it now. Let's make this happen.
Yeah, but I will say that Kira and I, our rooms and the place we were staying, there was a common area. So at the end of every day, she would come out of her room and I would come out of my room and we would open some wine and we'd smoke cigarettes. We were stressed because there was a balcony, which you'll see in this episode, which is a very romantic spot that we got something in. But yeah, we would just smoke a cigarette, have some wine and go, all right, what's going to happen? And
What do you want?
I have a question.
Yes.
I wrote a little bit in the chat, but this is a great question talking about the casting process.
Yes.
I'll chime in a little because some folks in the chat know me from the Pacific Northwest Seattle area, but some of you don't. So I also do casting. So like cast me because I produce and I cast as well. But I love to act first and foremost. However, I told Heather, well, I think we can keep this internal because we had a lot of roles. Well, not a lot. We had a couple pre-cast. My role was pre-cast and a couple others. Deb's role, we knew most likely she'd be directing, but also stepping into the role you'll see her in. We were like, okay, we're going to do auditions for all the other roles that you guys saw. And we even had some Italian roles. So it was a curveball for myself to look into how do we contact Italian agencies. And of course, we had Nicolo. Again, shout out to Nicolo, who was already a filmmaker, and he had worked with a couple agencies he highly recommended. So not only did we receive self-tapes from Italian actors who, y'all, any of us here in the States, they slay.
I have never, can I just pause, seen so many gorgeous women.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just get tape after tape. The stereotype is true. All Italian women are beautiful. I was like, I would have to turn my screen away from my husband. I'm like, go away. They're too beautiful.
But it also
cannot look.
I almost 15.
How bold, how daring, how bold they were.
They were great.
Because you will see the roles that they had in. But as for how was that process, what I thought was really cool for me as a friend, for something that Heather and I talked about 6 years ago, was that we were sitting there watching videos of her story come to life. And there's just nothing better than that. And seeing people do things that maybe Heather or Deb didn't, think of. And then they ultimately, a lot of actors from Duyagu to Aaron to Arkira, they changed what we thought we were looking for. Like they brought something, we were like, oh, it's them. So all my actors in the chat, show you. That's how we teach.
Yeah.
David, who's in the chat with y'all, he plays Charlie. He's also an educator with me at our Mighty Tripod Acting Studio. Ooh, plug. But we do think casting, know that we really want to see you. What are you going to do with this role?
Yeah.
There's a 2-minute warning, ladies.
Yeah, and I don't know what you guys are drinking. I'm going to go make another Aperol Spritz. What's everybody drinking? What you drinking? Oh, and
I got a
also,
spritzer.
can you show the wine bottle that you're drinking from tonight? This is a little preview.
It's
we will be
Italy.
in Villa La Ripa during the show. So we are drinking, we're drinking their wine, and I'm going to go refill, and I'll see you in there. And please stick around after, guys. So go pee, go refill.
Enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show.
The show will immediately start, and then we would love to see you in the post show. So stick around after. We'll talk after. Andiamo. Go potty. Go fill your drinks. See you.
See you soon.
Oh, Chardonnay